Welcome to this episode of our program, Daily Debate. As usual, we will be discussing a contentious debate. Today, we'll be discussing a very important file to Egypt, which is Egypt's nuclear energy. Fulfilling the dreams of an Egyptian nuclear project that has been stalled for more than 60 years is no longer a luxury. Definitely, it's no longer a luxury, since we are in real need for the nuclear energy to be beside the fossil one. The long-awaited plan for the construction of a Daba nuclear power plant in Egypt are in progress and are finally taking shape. Cairo and Moscow have completed harmonization of one of the 4 key commercial contracts on the construction of the Daba nuclear power plant. The Daba nuclear power plant consists of 4 power units, each with 1,200 megawatts capacity and with a total capacity of 4,800 megawatts. The construction of the nuclear plant is scheduled to be completed by 2022, and that was announced since at the very beginning of the negotiations between Egypt and Russia. The whole contract, the Daba nuclear energy, its importance, its significance for Egypt at this particular time and more. We will be discussing this and more in our episode later on. Before we proceed with our discussion, let's first have a top headline of the day. And President Fattah al-Sisi received on Monday the national football team at Cairo International Airport upon their return from Gabon. Sisi had earlier said that despite the final results of the final game, the team won the appreciation of all Egyptian people as well as the respect of football fans around the world. Indeed, they had gained the respect of our, of course, all the Egyptian nation as well as all fans around the world. Fine, they did not really do what we were aspiring for, or did not really achieve what most of Egyptians were aspiring for. But however, and because of 7 years of absence from this tournament, I guess that was an achievement by the Egyptian national team. Best of wishes for the upcoming tournament to come, and we all hope they would achieve more and more. Before we have a highlight on the issue, let's have this report and we'll come back for discussion.
President Fattah al-Sisi received the national football team at the Cairo International Airport following their return from Gabon after reaching the final of AFCON 2017. President al-Sisi congratulated the national team and thanked them for their great effort during the championship. Earlier, President al-Sisi expressed appreciation for the national team despite their 2-1 loss in the final game. The president said in a statement that despite the game's result, the players gained respect of Egyptian people and football spectators around the world. The president's statement read that the commitment and loyalty shown by the players toward their country will result in other achievements in the future. Egypt's national football team reached the AFCON final this year after failing to qualify for the past 3 championships in 2012, 2013 and 2015. The team made a promising start, leading its group with 7 points out of the group stage, following a 0-0 draw with Mali and 2 wins against Uganda and Ghana with 1-0. Egypt won the quarter-final game against Morocco, scoring 1-0 against North African rivals for the first time in 31 years. In the semi-final, Egypt beat Burkina Faso in penalty shootouts following a 120-minute game with a 1-1 draw. Egypt lost the final game to champions Cameroon after conceding a last-minute goal, making the final result of the game 2-1.
Right, and back to you, and I guess we have with us over the phone Dr. Tariq Al-Adwar, sports analyst and commentator, to highlight of course, the tournament, and of course, the return of our national team and all what went through this tournament. Dr. Al-Adwar, good evening to you.
Good evening to you and all the viewers.
Thank you very much. And I guess it's a hard luck, but I guess that was a kind of achievement after 7 years of absence, right?
Yes, of course. If you ask anyone to predict before the competition, which started in February 14th, to predict the outcome of the Egyptian team in this tournament, no one could expect that Egypt will finish at the second position with the silver medal. Because of the cause you mentioned, we are absent from the big tournament since 7 years, exactly since 2010, when Egypt for the last time gained the cup. But according to the conditions and according to the available players, according to this absence 7 years ago, I consider that this result is very good, achieving more than the target put by the Egyptian Federation. Finally, it is a result that even the players couldn't expect. What was required from the players before this tournament is just to go beyond the first round, meaning to the quarterfinal. But to reach the final and to become near the cup was amazing result for the Egyptian team, theoretically. But on the other hand, we can mention that when you qualify to the final, when you are only 45 minutes away from the cup, you should feel annoyed when you miss this cup, and I think this is the sensation of all the Egyptians after the final yesterday against Cameroon.
Yes, and exactly this is what I was going to ask you, Dr. Adwar. During the whole tournament, we've seen the national team, our national team, exerting their utmost effort, despite, of course, the absence of some of the important figures or players, and despite the injury of others, and that they were not the team, the full team that was really supposed to go. But during the whole tournament, we've seen the team exerting what they can. What happened in this last match?
Yes, this is a very clever question, because actually there was a strategy put by the coach Hector Cooper, strategy to get the results. He was not aware of what's going to, how the team will be going to play during the tournament. This is exactly what happened during the matches of the World Cup qualifiers against Ghana, especially in the second leg, and also in the first leg against Congo. Egypt depend on a certain strategy depending on how to close the directories to the goal of Egypt. So they depend on a very defensive way to achieve this goal. So the players played this in 100% way to win the matches one after the other, to get to the first round, finish the first round at the top of the Pool D, then to qualify to the quarterfinal, exceeding Morocco, and then Burkina Faso in the semi-final, until the final.
Yes.
But actually, what happened technically is that the players were...
Exactly in the 35 minutes, in the last 35 minutes.
Yes. Because the players, they finished all their efforts in the physical fitness. Actually, the physical fitness was always in the history a problem against the Egyptian team compared with the African teams, because usually, naturally, the African players are better in all items of physical fitness. But in this tournament, the players did their utmost in the first round and the other rounds, so they finished all their content of the physical fitness, and the physical fitness declined to the minimum in the next, in the second 45 minutes, in the second half time of the final. So they couldn't even apply their strategy to close all the defensive ways and to play the same strategy like they played against Morocco, like they played against Ghana, like they played against Burkina Faso.
For an instant.
So actually, what was positive to this, when we consider that the Egyptian team has finished second, we know very well that the players, they did their utmost, they did their last breath to play in this tournament in that way and to finish in the second position.
Right. Today, President Fattah al-Sisi received the national team at the Cairo airport. And of course, he saluted them. And earlier, even he said that despite the final results of the final game, they have gained the respect of all the Egyptians and all fans around the world. And that was very much obvious in all reports that we have seen. What is expected from the team in this upcoming stage? What should be done?
Yes, actually, I will say frankly that the reception of President Fattah al-Sisi, the team today, was the greatest prize they could gain from this tournament. I know very well that the president was very clever, that in this time, especially after the Egyptian team attracted all the Egyptians under one flag, we didn't see the Egyptians one team like this in the last few years. We didn't see them carrying the flag in this face and this very good mood. We feel all the Egyptians as one team, as one man in this tournament. So actually, he wanted to show all the Egyptians that the team played their utmost. Because, you know, the Egyptians usually are tending to the technical and the good style of play. They are entertaining the football. They are entertaining the good performances of the players. So when the players played in this defensive way, some people say that we didn't admire this kind of style for the Egyptian team, because usually they tend to receive the Egyptian team in a very good way, like the generation of Amr Zaki, Abu Trika, Metaib, Hosni Abdurabbo, Muhammad Shawki, Hadari, Wael Goma. All these players, they had very good performance in the three consecutive tournaments, 2006, 2008, and 2010. In these tournaments, Egypt had good results in the same line with the good performance and the good way and the good results. So results and very good performance. Now some Egyptians, because they admire football, they breathe football, they like this kind of style, to win and to have good performance. Like the Brazilians, if the Brazilians have their team gaining good results without good performance, they are not convinced with that. The same like Egyptian fans. Egyptian fans need both to have good performance and have good results.
Yes.
So actually, the president wants to send a message that we are owing to you these good results. We are appreciating your efforts. We are appreciating what you did for Egypt. We are appreciating how do you collect all the Egyptians under one flag. So we have to receive them in the good way. This was very clever from the president, actually, and I think all the players
definitely
have already their own prize from this reception.
Yes, definitely. We're seeing now the president saluting one of the players who were injured, I guess, Ahmed Shanawi. If I may ask you, sir, about Al-Hadari and the man of the tournament, or the goalkeeper of the tournament, and he really earned that. How would you just, what would be your message to him, particularly that we have seen him yesterday crying, and he was very much emotional about the issue?
Yes, actually, Hassan Al-Hadari was one of the top stars of these tournaments, mainly because of his age. You know, he broke the records of as the oldest player to play in the African Cup of Nations. He was 45 years and 21 days when we played the final against Cameroon. I guess no other player could break this record and to be older than Al-Hadri. Hadri is actually not a player. He is a model for all the youth to follow, because Al-Hadri, with his efforts, with his passion, could achieve a lot of records, especially as the oldest player. He is also have the best number of matches between the goalkeepers in the history of the tournament, playing his 28th match against Cameroon in the final. He also is the goalkeeper, the best winning results, because out of his 28 matches, Egypt won 21 matches under his guidance, or under his keeping the goal. And then also he is the one who won the title in 4 times and reaching the final in 1 time. So he actually, as a player, he had qualified to the final of the African Cup for 5 times, starting from 1998 under the coaching of Al Ghouari, and up till now under coaching of Hector Cooper. Within all these tournaments, he played 7 different tournaments with 19 years difference. All these records achieved by Al-Hadri actually are models for goalkeepers and for the youth to follow the same. Actually, the great goalkeeper and the great player, no one could one day break his record.
Yes, Dr. Tariq Al-Adwar, sports analyst and commentator, we thank you very much for being with us and your input. Hard luck for our national team. However, they played very well, and the coming would be more and more for more achievements to come, I mean, here. And delving to our discussion or topic of the day, and Egypt-Russia continue negotiations over contracts of Daba nuclear project. Let's watch this report and we'll come back for discussion.